alaikum.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Is that Malik Mane?
Yes, speak. Yeah.
Yes. I know one of my cousins is called Malik Mane. He's from SL. So I don't know if you relate to Malik.
From SL?
SL, Malik Mane, yes.
Malik Mane, I'm originally originated from Jinak. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yes. So what is it about?
Yeah, because you looks like they are family. So because
yes.
Yeah, you know the Alcalo Musa and Pature, that family, you know. You don't know them, Pature and the others, no?
No, not really. But I do believe when you say that, because I believe that all humans are one family. Oh, if you talk about SL and I'm from Jinak, even though I am born from Bakau, but my mom and dad comes from Jinak. And they've got relatives in Kanuma, Berending, Bunyadu. My own sister is married in Bunyadu. You see?
What's he called? I'm from Bunyadu. Yeah?
Mariama Mane, and my father's elder brother also lives in Bunyadu called Jere Mane.
I know
There you go. So now you see.
Sonko.
Sally Sonko, exactly. Yeah. These Manes are very big families. My father's, I think there are 5 brothers.
Okay.
One in Jambanjeli, one in Serekunda, just by the big tree, the Manekunda there. Yes, that they are brothers, and one in Jambanjeli, for Bakari Mane, and another in Sukuta by Omar Mane. Yeah. Then some are in Brufut as well, and my father came to Bakau. Yeah. So my father came to Macau, but we all have a forum, a WhatsApp forum where all the sons of these brothers join in order to still keep the family, because we are all scattered as well. Yeah, it's a very big family. Yeah.
Yeah, we have 400 people from almost 5 countries. the Banoras, because my father comes from Guinea-Bissau.
Guinea-Bissau, oh, you see?
Yeah, I'm from Guinea-Bissau, yes. And then all the Banoras from Conakry, Senegal, Casamance, you name it, Mali, we all have one forum. And there's one Arab guy called Banora in Egypt. He's in the forum. We need to keep in contact. We need to keep it, not to lose our roots.
Of course, because that's the very reason I myself went to Guinea-Bissau. Yeah, I went up to Gabo, and there was a time I came with a tourist also. I stayed in Bissau, the 24 September hotel, and the Grande Hotel also, yeah, because the 24 September we are asking for American dollars. So after some time, I moved into the Grande Hotel, and I met a Mandinka guy there. He was a waiter. Yeah. That's where I met a Gambian, not a Gambian, a Mandinka brother who is also an original Gambian, Guinea-Bissau Mandinka. But he took me from that hotel, and because I was tired of hotel food, so he said, "Hey, let's go home." So that evening I came to pick him up. Then we went home. But when we got home, what surprised me, his elder brother went to Gambia, and the woman he married from Bakau was like a sister to me. Yes.
It's a small world.
It was a small world. And before I left that very trip, from the Sunwin Hotel, when the women knew that we were leaving for Guinea-Bissau, they all came and speak to me and said, "Look, Pabi you know, one of our elder brother there, they said his sister is married in Guinea-Bissau. And I have no clue because that was my first time to go to Bissau. So when that guy picked me from Grandi Hotel, we went home. By the time we start to eat rice, then the sister brought bananas on the plate. And then he turned around and he said, that this is when the sister asked me, Yamireta manke Fatumane do matiba. Manako, yes. Abuka Philly, this is what he told me straight. And then she starts speaking. He said, yeah, Pabi Lonne, Pabi Mundo Maleti. Nkola ilaha illallah. Yajal.
It's a small world.
It is a very small world, my brother. It is for them feel out of the blue you call. But look where the conversation lead us. You see?
Yes.
Yeah. It's good to have you here, brother. It's good to have this call from you. We will keep in touch. I will keep your number.
Yeah.
And I will make sure after this program I'll give you a call.
Yes. Because I am the creator of African Artist Movement Facebook page on the Facebook since 2009.
Ah, look at that.
Me. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
You know, my brother, thank you very much for getting in touch. You see, this is what the social media it's about. You know, this is where we will all find each other, the lost family members. You know, but as brothers, Gambian brothers as a whole. You see.
Yeah.
Because like I tell people on my platform, I said, when we started to realize things were wrong in our country, we were very small boys, you see?
Yeah. Of course.
And there was no way, you know, we had it in those days, you know, to put our voice out to the people, to the public, to speak to mothers. But what do? We wrote things at night. We sit under candle lights and write our thoughts on the papers and cut them into small pieces. Then that night we will go and drop them at Grand Places. Then in the morning, if people gather up drinking attire, they will find those papers there and start, you know, distributing it. Then we go on the streets at night also and start writing things. But look at today. I come on social media, and today I found one brother. Yesterday, there were 3 brothers on the screen, you know?
Yeah.
So Gambia movement is very important. I came across it, and I will give you a call so we can talk about this more, because we are all in this together.
Yes. Because even from 2009 when we started, he said I need to open a page. Then I asked Youngs to do something on the media platform. Then he came with the Kibaro news at the time as well. So he was posting everything into Kibaro at the time. So I was the guy with the big camera and I interviewed all of them.
Oh.
Kibaro and the others. You know, I was the one who beat the agent from the Gambia embassy in 2009. So they put all of us in the wanted list, and I said, don't worry about it. You will make sure when you go, you will also be on the wanted list.
Being na video dol bije koto malem, but ninge fintindi, I might be even talking about you. You see? Because ika watol mini for watol from unke mention the young la pastor yaja. There was one of the video but and mola what this man was before abe fenya political fangokono yaja.
Definitely.
So those are the days. It be mini in a sort di kananan sign. But the importance of our this conversation today. Yaja. Yewo camera mimfokoiteleketa camera. Yaja. Definitely na foundation of Mingaya la Gambia tenga official create sign up an apparel but laughter tone into a studio. Yeah.
Yes, it's important. It's
It's
important.
So we might need your your help in that department. But
no problem. No problem.
oh,
When Kabim Pabodubal Asylum of Taken, he was sending it to me and I was putting it into my Facebook page.
thank you. You know, you not in the book of Ponyo Aladano, and then sell the what you're watching and say Aladani Monimal. You know, not a fierce all. I take in charge because because of the people he sent to me. Yeah. What will Nkalonko? Alaka Hadamadino near Jiko Sen Bala Drong. I just found a affairs all direct. You see?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
What time when I'm going to Ningal Walida, I'm going to create my own party. Then I create my own party called Gambia Matters Party because they wanted to send something. So I refused to do that and I create my own party. And I said Gambia Matters Party. When they speak, and I was like, all the parties speak because I will speak on the behalf of my party because they label me as an extremist. I'm not that. So that's when Gambia Matters Party comes on. And then, I was, if you see some of the papers I was holding, the white ones, are the message from Gambia Matters Party and the view of only Gambia Matters Party because some of them around me doesn't share those views. But I called for military intervention when we went to Amnesty International to send people to the British cabinet. So then, we have a very big row inside that meeting, that's two extremists. But when the Nigerian jet fighter went to Gambia and Gambia is trying to leave, I called them and I said, the people who died from the time of our meeting to that is caused by you people. Because I know Gambia is a coward. If the British military jet, two of them went to the sky in the Gambia, he would have lived long time ago. But they never supported my view. It says it's going to be extremists. I said, no, Gambian soldiers, they love life. They won't die. They will surrender. Yeah,
I'm with you on that point.
So that was 2011. That could have saved a lot of lives. But thank God he's gone. And then,
Yeah, but still the struggle is on. It doesn't change a lot. Nothing at all.
Yeah, Barros were in there. I said to them, they were like, oh, he's the guy, Chance. And I was like, his face looks like a wolf in a sick clothing. Don't trust this guy.
No.
So I faced a lot of criticism, but those people criticizing me on that day all out there, like, if someone says I'm not biased about what's going in Gambia, I love Gambia, that's where my umbilical cord is buried, my spirit remains in Gambia. You understand? So wherever I go, first where you from? I'm from Gambia. You understand?
He will always be a Gambian, yeah.
A Gambian. So the interest and the security of a nation, whereby I wanted to retire and my kids to come there and build their future and stay safely and happily, they are citizens of that nation. Is a concern for every concerned and compassionate citizens to sow and fight for the love, the economic improvement, the political freedom, the rule of law. That we make sure that there is a law to be observed and to be obeyed. And no one is beyond that law that combines us as one people of one nation. Yeah. But there is one thing which I observe within the Gambians. We still have this invisible dictatorship within ourselves. Like, if I speak, someone else's opinion doesn't matter anymore. I've been warning them in our meetings, like, each and every individual opinion matters. We need to get dialogue table and pick the best among there, because we are all on the same pathway for the progress of Gambia.
That's the way it should be, yeah.
Yes, and I says by rubbishing others' evil opinion is an invisible dictatorship within us that we need to combat. And so that every human being are equal and our opinions are important. But we can take the best among them and to follow that to make Gambia the better place.
A better place for all of us.
For all of us, you understand? I always say to them, Gambia, our citizenship is not bound by tribal lines or that kind of gender, or you might bring it sexism. You understand? We might face some problems within tribal lines, but those should be tackled with gentility and then a very mature way. You understand? Yes, because every country, even Europe, they have that. They don't like the Eastern Europeans here, and then this is something that happens in every country. The early settlers clashes with the other new settlers, but that is always maturely discussed and tackled in the most amicable way. And well, you know, that is very important. That,
it is.
We avoid escalating things which are not necessary. You understand? We've been living side by side for over 100 years. All these tribes are in Gambia. You never had a tribal issue.
No.
Okay, the Manjagos has a problem with that guy in that
𝐏𝐞𝐸, yeah. I did a program on that, yeah.
I was on one of the program of the gala. I said to him, do you know my father? He said, no. I said, my father, his mother is a Mandingo. His father is a Mandingo. My father is arrested in Gambia and detained for 2 weeks to be deported. I said, did you ever see any Manjago being treated in that way? He said, no. I said, you have a problem with only one party. You don't have a problem with the Mandingo. And rectify your case. You understand? There is a Mandingo guy arrested and detained for 2 weeks to be deported where he came from. And none of the Manjagos have been treated in that way. And I said to them, rectify and carefully coded your words and stop the escalation. We must have problems because we live together. In your mouth, you have a tongue and a teeth. They crash. You understand? I said, the appealing and the fight for peace is more powerful and more important than escalating falsehood to create chaos in our society, whereby we live together for many 100 years. And they said, oh yes, and they were all left opening their mouths. And I was like, if you don't know the media, don't just jump into it and start your program and escalating chaos and trouble to the people, because we've seen what happened in Rwanda and Burundi and the others.
We have to learn this. It's a lesson for all of us.
It's a lesson. And the Gambians are too civilized, too civilized to be in that position and escalating chaos. We are too civilized, and the country is too small. Look at 81, according to 81 stories. Look at the Gambian state is not going. People are running here and there. Gambians, they love life. They love peace. You understand? So the most important thing is we all have to be the shepherd of our country in the basis of peace, you know, integrity of observation of rule of law, equal right for everyone.
Exactly.
You know, political freedom, right to express your mind, political, religious freedom, you know. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yo, Baraka, definitely life letting. So saying that was wrong. Okay, back. So maybe can be called like ning ularo. Ha.
Yeah. Okay then. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Yo, maringol, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Mbal be konton na bila bimun na lungol timi ya lonko ngalong public holiday be Gambia banko kanne. Be fintila ate mela be video jele be fintila Facebook kotenke. Ate celebration cool killing all. Bari independent no kuno nga fanyaming platform auto. Bimbe mudla wo ku killing all kambawo mbe wole wato kono. Celebration o na independent na 57 year bring ngam fansoto to babol bul. So Yaya Jamela video dole be mbuluja lafta wole play la folon. Janem be dunna programme o kon. Isaje se kacha fengo soto mbe mem fola. Yaya Jamela president folon jangoti miyen na banko mara wati jangola. Sa dawda ta tambita te tati do man dindoron nela. Bari wo president flol la watol kono. Wati ni wati ntol Gambian ol nyanta murla koma le ngata ngajibe. Mun kulle keta wo watol kono. Nga woni mbite mendi ngajibe bimbe wato min kono. Mine be caring. Nsenata na unyato. Ba nimban koma jibe. Nga mfango jibe mbe damindo. Na nyato tabe kola yalale. So wala tine ko mo nimmo ko ime fango longa meneng. Anyininka ay mine jeba la fa ko ime fango long. Adoba to naya foy. Yewo ko no me bajela leko. Ay mim foto nyalem. Hada madingo nyanta fango long nale. Atanya sena betia. Obi mbelungo min jura kan. Nsa jibe nga mune achieve bring nga wo wato soto. Nko wato min nanko nga mfango soto le. Nga min do wo wato mbe mira la walel. And wala tinambe Yaya Jamela nyim video fanam play la pral sal tulo lo bake abe min fola ji. Nsena kacha continent ni.
Now that we call ourselves independent, they tell you dance on fire so that we make you what we are today.
Mariama si Mbara, happy Independence Day.
Allow criminals to burn your country in the name of democracy or human rights. And allow boys to date each other in the name of freedom. So that we can give you to be to be like us. If you follow them, they are not bad. They are not mad. And they are not stupid. You who is following them, you are. 400 years. What did they do for your country? They rule you. They control all your resources and took everything that is possible, that they can possibly see. Your country is still becoming more backward every day until you told them enough is enough. We are ready to die for that. Of course, some countries, some Africans and non-Africans pay the high price. Why am I telling you this? Because it is tragic, very sad, and very humiliating. That it's only we Africans that some small, even somebody with the rank lower than that of assistant secretary can talk to an African minister or even a vice president and tell you what is wrong with your country. And say, yes, we are trying to fix it. Who are they to tell us how we should live in our countries? And who are they to talk to us? You know, you will not be able to meet your own your counterparts in the West. You will find very hard. They will relegate you to meet a desk officer. But here, I say, oh, I want to see. Oh, yes, come. They come in, little boys and girls. You gotta give them the chair and they sit. And then they have their feet like this. And you know, and they say, yes. You don't even understand what they're saying. They will never respect us. And that's why they still think that they can sit there and dictate to us how we should live in our countries. Gambia would be the exception. I make it very clear because you are being sworn in. And if you are not going to go by our way of life, our cultural values, our spiritual values as Muslims and Christians, because good Muslims and good Christians would not allow two men to marry or two women to marry. It's not in the Bible. It's an abomination. It's not found anywhere in the Quran. If you think it is human rights to destroy our culture as Africans, you are making a mistake because we are in the Gambia, we are in the wrong place. Discipline, based on our tradition, would be enforced to the letter. Work ethic. Remember that only we can take the lead in the development of our country. I'm telling you this because you listen to what they tell you, you're not going to survive in this. That ideology is a wrong ideology. So you cannot live like them, they cannot live like us. This is what you have to understand. An African must be an African. Now that we call ourselves independent, they tell you dance on fire so that we make you what we are today. Allow criminals to burn your country in the name of democracy or human rights. And allow boys to date each other.
Madingol Nalia Nying Natalo 𝐷𝐸𝐵. Yanyem mo nanol mimbeki jang kwa menkroma. Nim benga hakilo dong nyim mo nanol ye munesoto in common. Woto lembem fan question la nga 𝐷𝐸𝐵. Nyini bela wato li ka memfo ntol mo fingoldo. Anem be ne wultan tata stadium moto. Mbe celebration ola. Mbe dindingol dundila tilo kono. Mbe majindila. Mbe bankola resources soltala. Mbe spend la. Ngata nga 𝐷𝐸𝐵 mbe mine celebrate kan. A important tabake la puru. Ntol Gambia dingol ye woto 𝐷𝐸𝐵. Be na Africa abe bunda mento niya 𝐷𝐸𝐵 na tere kalamuta roke. Mbalon na leko mbe melale. Mbe minto mbe mela woto bakele. Fente fo ngam fangol men dalinde. Tuba bol la fangol. Na yamu me bebula. Ya jamenia jangala nyim video play. ngala mo kilina audio ngantulo lo wala Facebook ako biring quartier fayo keda ya jamme sonta follow ko a sonta election o nyinnale anata muru kotanke ako amanson katu wo wato bira sonta wato mina aninga ba fula wato mina ko amanson kule futata la mi yalon ko wala yatina ko wo election o man fair barate mo kilingo mi ento like this past election o conduct ate mo kilingo wole na college ononi yaya jamela election o conduct bara ko biri yaya jame indita ka foko election o yemuru back to the pool wotumo koleya be Gambia nol kan momang kibe roke minayati na e wofo so wayatina makisali ala interest jibe atata ECOWAS kan akoiko alanga sojarol ke nyim banko kan nte benna mol tambindilale bawon tolle sutiyata Gambia la nse wol tambindi follow eta ako barbidin Senegal be wokela ya kela interest le kama mi yatina bi ibe min soto kan Gambia bulu ise wo soto makisala dungo ntolla kuota keta wallet barako ya jamme min dorom fo wala nyinte ko election o nyimman fair because ko la futatal ako wato Senegal wulta ko be na kelo boy la Gambia because ya miracle ya jamme be kelo lola le ay balanko abe finti la Gambia ako so natara ya jamme balantanu wo wato Senegalel o economic be kido failan to la banko kan because he pare ringole natan na banko ka wo wato pour ye woke bawo ya jame ko alnga muru back to the pool bara ma fu folonko mental ama foko mbe nyi nekela bare biringa tebe fintela na banko ka ya samba fo airport journalist all back question kan ako Gambia mala banko leti wala tinna be fintika nga betakan Equator Guinea bari ni wonte atese sino Gambia le ay nyini batu ibe minkela ya woke bara findida bira findita woy Cairo sabatindi na Bangkokan nying economic sojarol min nata iman kelek soto kotange inata yesna sojarol tara kampoto yejia ini dunte la kampol kon bar wo Senegal le tutan na Bangkokan sanji lulo follow minkela iben na Bangkokan ila amandan itoldoro na tarola na banko muna fango be jamata ta Senegal kan karanal ben bulun na banko kan mo betol ben na nyen na banko kan minni yalon koy ko mu Gambian olati yemine foji feng mam foji na banko la muna fango Banjul Breweries Limited mi yalon ko banku din jamala sotobe sujiri wobal biring abotak minni be do ko wala wo factory okono ni ajiba tata fo mo keme nani nim feng ni wo wolye do ko ke wolem natol de da a findita wo factory okono fo min ba minni ka soto min la soto be dapuri wol be bala wol be fota wo kodo la wo wato le e balunya man sa kunda majibe mojele la balu be sujiring wo factory obal birim minni ka firo ke bitikol kono lembang restaurant ol be minni bulubang ika wo drink sol sang ika la wafi cook Gambia dingol la kuliol nila jongdol ika wollem natol minni tay ka dila molla ika kodol minni tay ka spenje ima wolto jibe Masakunda mine jibe dorong. Ya barola nyum Masakunda ye mine jibe. Inin Senegal ye mimfo. Senegal be na famin sotole tol bloko no katu namanke woti foy koy tol mu Gambia minister leti wala president wala muy tolti inyanta mine jibe la Gambia dingol la mun nafale be nyum factory yobal ibe wala follow jibe la janni be tax kolengol ala wo factory yokan katu biri ya commence ka wo tax la jul burukan wo wato len tol fintita nko alnga diamu nimman diamu nyum factory yombe fola ala bar Gambia nol jama bebe siring mondin doron la be diamu kan ne Gambia la population o jibe sa kon kam même fako mindi bela nafa be sujire wo Banjul Breweries Limited bala wo factory nga tara nga soto Gambia banko ka wato minna mol min bebe imuna fanna wo factory la ila soto be sujiri ngala ntol nga wolle be jibe bar fennem fanan banko la titar nangolem katu banko mi yalon ko ibuke fangola lem nato de da ibe wande tal lemin bi wala benna banko kan net jongol be dawo danto abe bola wandi banko le kan ay nanan drink sol be dala wala to ay nanan ntol ngata ngamin ntol fangota mfota wala le wota tan nkaje na Masakunda na state house fango kono nkaje sai nin Senegal musician ol fangonata ika access to le fo state house fangoto ikata inin na minister sol katarela official kono yedi yela kuolke janding wo wularo bitala stadium moto yeta pleje bari na balonya banko kan akolayata fobi ni be any video jibela iba jala le mol be kumbo kan balula kolayala banko kan kuno nga video do jibe mi yalonko woke wokate mu molti mi yalonka carte fay NPP lay barako abe yang fo danila molli ate minita ay encourage pour ye carte fay NPP katu wako ate mi ye carte fay NPP wolungo fokunun ko birata ta loptano to pour kata yelodi ay min taraje wala yatina nata ka mol bolo sey ka tandila ko ndenga carte fay NPP la de bar bi nga min taranye loptano to mbe mol hako danila natara nga mo encourage pour nyin carte fayo min tambitalia carte fay NPP le ako katu nga min taranye loptano to amanke kuti mi yalon ka nyanta sorolalde akonate wulta tata puruka yelodi puru mol min kam mantoro soto wo loptano kon aba mira la be kudo le tarlaje bod puruka la fay ko bot ulman soto ibe yelo kela bakol minni kono wo man soto ji indu nyinde na keta janne sanji flako manto mol fintite ko blood bag sol banta hospital oltole nata president of fongoja fintita ako woli mistake oleke inyante nyinin karole kala nita ta wod lato ala wodi ya mokote yimanga sino tandine ya video ya tandine ko wobe fare wo yele fenkol indin tuba bole bota janga tatan to lallo pitano bira tata anem mol dia muta wotola nata jeko nyim fengo be mankere nyin loptano konole ala wo live video konola ya wotandi dunia bela so ngamira Masakunda maluta woleto den ye fereke wo yele botol na fe tata yake manga sino kono ya video inate ya tandi mol la kotenke brafela kotenke nyillo kungo modo fanam findita the same thing for mim fongoko atemu supportalti ate kate fay NPP le bara fela nyinta ka fo mole ko alse hekatu ako wodla mu dead squad lati minati na banku dingo bala loptano kumandila dead squad la be nyanta nyinin kala wala la. How many times len kan na banku dingol je ka kurangol soto Mulia na social media ko. Kari de ay kuran nangam lesoto. Bari na loptano fango ko. Anyanta tala Dakar. Wala anyanta tala tubabdula ita jara rola je. So mine bukanano tubabudu. At least, wala kata Dakar. Yete fanjara je. Yena se nan suwakon. Barbirin tolngam fansoto sanji talulu anin worowula. Ntol fangola molle be mararin na bankola. Ntenga mire be feofen dilan tolla bawon tol mu hada madingol leti. Ibe feofen dilan tolla. Ya follow wo jarar bundala. Janni be manasilo de dalanyi. Janni be brijo de dalanyi. Sate wo sateng. Ila loktani ndingo mimbeje. Ye borol kije. Tubabol mine be sirin koton na bankol kan. Iko tolni mine muterol di. Innim wol yediamu. Yenna health center equip. Yenna loptanul equip. Katu danyino na danta wole lambese murunole back to the farm. Gio be mbulule. Half of na river Gambia be mu fresh geolati. Nse gadinol do kuala. Nse manol farol kije. Par borol. Wobe tala kande katu hanim mamol mingetara. Ibe mo finjara rol le ka jararo ke yirol minila. Wolfang be tala kan na banko kan na saing. So mbe mine ke lambadi ngol. Alngang hakilotu bake. Mbe min celebrate kan bi. To lafta video dole fanantandi lalla. Albe ya kalamutale wati tambite ko Malila president do. Aya fo France tuba bol yale finti ila banko kan. Malo yemine jotede. Katu military government le be blokon. So bire woke. Yaji be France Bangkok Bangkok kan ebe min ke kam mo fingon yaji nali nyim video jibe nyato albe nyama koran trogo jelale min be tambilal ko ma min ba tandilal la ko nyim video keta nyinanni inda keta France a evidence o mume bebe je ye mo fingota ya wura pax minem malianol ko français ye finti la bankoka ye mo fingota ya wura ikale simunaka haramadin jamala be nyam haramadin mutala the big generation of minto ikewo ta ike simuna ka campaign. And this is in France, modern day France. Yaja. Alko majibere, troko min betambila je, wala batandila la. Pare ngola yaja. Nyinne ben nintu wa boltem. ebe nyinke kam mo fingolel last month bring military government ko anim France la ko e banyo kon France land the only to banko ti mi ya lonko ye Africa colonize hani sign ila kuol be bulo kono ila France banko kan ila na reserve sol be la banko le kan ila banko la kodo mu bebe France la banko le kan e be la economic samba so wala la so wonyenne ye demi bring military government nata Mali inim France mandia to France to babol mandia so mbenga jele wato minna ako France ye finti naturati la maral nye tout le monde la fi wolle ba de undila la lafta mararo ke la nyamin ye finta la banko kan so ngamoy woto je nyin sate ndingo be France la kono biri woke la wato minna nyim mo fi ngo ngamirate kilin nebe wo sate kono itata noma wombe do kono ya wurajil ta baya wulu nyamin inata kesu munaka so wala tinna be bitiring aliaje la be bitiring video kono nyamin pra nya fango kana finti saje molta sutela jamalem because ne wonte fa mol balon nale nyom handa madingo nyem tubabol yesu muna nyenne kan to be nembe siring nkonka wo independent nkonka wole jura na banko kan nantanke ko la bakela na jibe be mede celebrate kan nyenan ko to be lafta nali yemin nyimim fo
Thank you very much. That is a question that, of course, needs a longer period to answer, but just very briefly. One of the things that we must recognize is that throughout history, and there is evidence, as you will note, from Europe, from the United States of America, that will answer your question, that unity is not for the faint-hearted. And sometimes when we talk about unity, we are understood to be very simplistic. We are not being simplistic about it. We are not saying that one day all the countries will go to Addis Ababa and then they say, we are now united. We are saying that unity is a process. It is constructive. And that is why when you look at some of the things that you now see under the Africa Agenda 2063 or the Africa Continental Free Trade Area that my brother was beginning to talk about, these are steps that are geared towards leading to a process that will ensure that the barriers that stand in our way will no longer exist, and effectively we will be reading from the same page. If you look at the history, for example, the East African Community One, before it was dissolved in 1977, these were movements towards unity of some kind. If you look at what the reasons behind the creation of ECOWAS or SADC or the Maghreb, and under the auspices of the African Union, if we look at some of the things that have happened in the recent past, I've already mentioned the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, which deals with the removal of tariff and non-tariff barriers. I mentioned the Yamoussoukro Protocol that talks about the free flights in the airspaces of Africa. I talked about the Kigali Protocol that talks about free movement of persons and a single passport. And I'm talking about, I haven't talked about the Maputo Protocol or all those other protocols. All these are designed to move us in that direction. But don't think that the rest of the world wants Africa to unite. You have seen a very resurgent France that is trying to do everything within its powers, even if it denies to ensure that Africa does not unite. See a resurgent United Kingdom post-Brexit that is doing everything within her power to ensure that Africa is divided. You are seeing a resurgent Russia that is trying to ensure that she has a military presence in Africa, a resurgent Turkey, and even more resurgent China, India. These are battles that we are going to have to fight, and we are going to have to fight them by understanding our enemy, and I'm using the word enemy loosely, but our competitors, if you want to be a little bit more charitable to them. And the danger is that sometimes, particularly now, we in Africa, we paralyze ourselves through too much analysis. And once again, even the tools of analysis that we use are not Afrocentric. They are tools that are handed down to us by other thinkers. There is no harm in understanding what Marx said. There is no harm in understanding what those English and American scholars say. But there is wisdom in using that knowledge for coming out with an ideas that are Afrocentric and therefore sensitive to the realities of our continent. It is not for the faint-hearted. There will be many people who will tell you it cannot be done. But history has demonstrated that the most difficult of things can be achieved by men and women who have focus and men and women who know that these battles are intergenerational and one generation passes over the baton to another. I believe that that is what I can say. But as I said at the beginning of answering the question, this would constitute a subject for a whole semester in your political science class.
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
so much for that response there. I'm sure.
Can I ask? Hello.
Let me bring you in, please.
Hello.
Yeah, can everyone put their device on mute? Thank you very much. Let me just check. Can everyone be muted? Can everyone put themselves on mute? Let me just mute all. I think I might be able to do it here myself, actually. Okay, so can I just check, is King Mapongo in the house, please? Is King Mapongo in the house? If you are, please unmute yourself. Okay, I can't see our brother King Mapongo in the list of participants, so I will assume that he's not in the house. Okay, I just want to thank, first of all, our professor for that very insightful response there. And as he says, it's up to us, this generation now, to seize the vision. The vision has been laid out for us, and it's for us to seize it and to run with it. We're clear in terms of our direction of travel. We're clear about what we need to be doing and what we want to achieve. And in our respective positions, in our respective organizations, in our respective institutions, what we need to be working towards as a people is our total independence and liberation. We want economic independence, borderless Africa. You know, we need to have one currency. We're clear about what we need to be doing, and we are the ones that need to make the African Free Trade Agreement a reality as well. Let's bring in our brother Kwame Gonza for a question. We'll seize the opportunity until our next speaker arrives.
Thank you so much, Sister Shanice. I would like to thank the professor. We've spoken to him before, and I was really glad to have spoken to him personally. I feel like Professor is the one who has sparked this desire and this interest in Pan-Africanism, and he has been a voice. I feel like he's a voice of, like in the Bible, they say, John, who's preparing the way for the coming of the Messiah. So first of all, I want to appreciate him for that. There's a couple of papers which I wrote, and he was able to read them through. And I appreciate him for that. What I wanted to ask is that if you look at Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, he warned about these groups, the different groups which form in the different parts of the continent, the regional groups like ESC, ECOWAS, SADC, all these groups, because the groups have been used by the imperialists to penetrate and find out what Africa is doing and take advantage of it. Example,
is the Africa Continental Free Trade Area today. The Africa Continental Free Trade Area, yesterday I saw a message which was going around, and France is trying to organize countries like Ghana, South Africa, Nigeria, I think with Kenya also. And when you look at these are English-speaking countries, and France is trying to organize an create an electronic platform. So how do we give support to such an enterprise that has already been penetrated by the neo-colonialists themselves to take advantage of it? Another example also is when you look at Ghana, where the secretariat is, you see that all the other manufacturing companies have run to Ghana because they have the secretariat is there. Countries like Toyota, Nissan, VW, they have all put up assembling plants there in Ghana to try to look as if these companies or these cars which are manufactured there, which are assembled there, actually not manufactured there, they are manufactured in Ghana so that they can take advantage of the rest of the African continent. How are we going to deal with this scenario? With Ghana, there is already a manufacturing company called Kantanka, but now it is being stifled. It's being stifled instead of being helped. When you go to Nigeria, we have Inoson, also is a manufacturing car manufacturing company, but it is being stifled. So how are we going to deal with this problem?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that question, Robert.
So thank you very much. In fact, you've asked a question that is very important, because when my good brother had started talking about the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, he talked about the skeptics. And I've been following the FTCA quite keenly. And what is amazing, most of the people who are writing about Africa Continental Free Trade Area are not Africans. And what then is happening is that they are creating the exact scenarios that you are talking about. For example, when you are going to talk about the removal of tariff and non-tariff barriers, and we are going to deal with the rules of origin, an item that is assembled in Ghana is going to be deemed to be a Ghanaian product, while the only thing that has happened in Ghana is that it has been assembled, and it is essentially a Chinese product. And I think it is important that we are awake to these realities. You can now see there is a scramble for Africa. You see, the Europeans are summoning African leaders. If they don't do so in Berlin, they invite them to Russia, they invite them to Beijing, they invite them to London, they invite them to Washington, they invite them to Beijing. Unfortunately, I feel very sad when I say this. It appears that our political leaders are so susceptible to manipulation that they are incapable of seeing some of these schemes. When Americans come up with a GOA, their GOA is not designed to help Africa. When the Americans is talking about preferred trade, it is not meant to benefit the Africans. You'll have the crumbs. You'll have a few export processing zones done in your country, and you think that you have created, you'll rebase your economy, and you think you are doing well, but poverty persists. And that is why it reminds me of a speech that was delivered by Julius Nyerere on the 6th day of March 1997 in Accra, Ghana, on the occasion of the independence of Ghana. And the title of the speech, "Without Unity, there is no future for Africa." And Nyerere, who was one of the people who had talked about gradual unity of Africa, said Nkrumah was right. We were wrong. Nkrumah was right because now that we have created these regions, East African Community, ECOWAS, and all these SADC and others, people are becoming a little bit parochial, and their parochialism is standing in the way of African unity. I now hope that as we move towards Africa Continental Free Trade Area, as we give meaning to Africa Agenda 2063, and as we recognize that the erstwhile colonizers, the European powers, the Russians and the Americans are working very hard to ensure that we are disunited and that we are reading from their script, we've got to think very differently. Somebody I see is raising the question, are they about sustainable development goals? You remember we had Millennium Development Goals, then they brought, so we are always reading to a script that is not written in Africa. In a nutshell, Kwame, I can't agree with you more. You are right, and it is your generation. It is our generation, your generation, that must now begin to bring these things to the fore. What our universities doing when all these articles are being written? What our government's doing in terms of research and development financing universities? If we don't do this, the Chinese are going to take over, the French are going to take over. Ask yourself, why should we have something called the Commonwealth? For whose benefit? If it is a body of equal partners, why is the British monarch the head of it? Why do we have an organization called former French-speaking countries? Why? Why do we have an organization called former Portuguese countries? Why? If we have the African Union, why can't we do our things under the African Union, and then we meet the rest of the world from the standpoint of the African Union? And this requires people who are going to speak and to act. And perhaps this is where we are weak at. We have said, sometimes I think we have said enough, and that there is time for action. How that action is going to be implemented is what I am grappling with. And if anybody has ideas, that is the point at which we should now meet. How are we going to work at it so that we begin to harass governments in a creative manner so that they can begin to move in the right direction?
All right, so thank you so much, Professor Luspa, for that response.
Thank you, Prof. Let me jump in, Sister Charlize.
For those, wonderful truths. And in fact, as you were talking, you reminded me of a book that I read quite a number of years ago called Miseducation of the Negro. And then he said that all you have to do is to control a man's thinking. The rest is history. And I do actually, concur with you that indeed we need to change the status quo in order for us as Africans to move forward. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I see that time is not exactly on our side for the questions, but I'd like to take this opportunity to actually welcome Dr. Benjamin Anyagwe. I see the chat box is actually on fire right now, and I really, really hope that we could actually capture these comments and these questions in order for us now to continue the conversation. When we actually have much more time. When it concerns Africa, we will never stop talking, because this is us. This is everything else that needs to be changed. And all of that. So please let me welcome Dr. Benjamin Anyagwe to give us the closing remarks. Dr. Benjamin.
We don't have Dr. Benjamin with us at the moment, so that gives us an opportunity maybe to have one or two questions put to King Joshua Makonga. Whoever we bring in, can I say they must just ask a question, please, and not make great lengthy statements. Thank you.
One question to Dr. Makonga, and let me see who I can hear. Please. I see Ellen Rodney. Please go ahead and ask the question. Just the question, please make it brief.
Yes, thank you very much for giving me another chance to say something. I wanted King Makonga to tell us how we can maneuver with religion and this global capitalism amidst all these prevailing problems in Africa. Thank you.
I will not waste your time. We need to organize a container, and put all these foreign gods in one big box in a container and drive it to the sea and just dump them there. I think their welcome is expired. Enough of the black devil and the white Jesus. If there was a time where Africans needed to wake up is to wake up and see a black God and a white devil. We cannot be maimed and harassed by Muhammad and Allah. We have never loved Africans. Slavery is happening right now in Saudi Arabia, in Iran and Iraq. We have girls from Kenya who are in prostitution and slavery as we speak right now, under the nostrils of what they say the most peaceful religion, which is Islam. I've had enough of Zoroastrianism. I've had enough of Buddha. I've had enough of Muhammad, enough of Jesus. Put them in one big container, move them up the Atlantic Ocean in the midst of nowhere and dump them there. If this white God cannot deal with the African, he's foreign to us. If he's scared of the African drum, he never created us. If he's scared of the black color that we are, then he never created us. How can we relate to a God who does not relate to us? Indians have Indian gods. White men have white gods. The question I'm asking you again, why do you find yourself bowing and kneeling in front of a white God when you're a black man? I thank you.
I have a question, please.
I'm so sorry, Chief. At this point in time, we just find out if we have Dr. Anyango.
I have a question, please.
Excuse me, sir. Please, wait a minute. Let me just find out if you will have that time for you to ask the question. But in the meantime, can you please mute yourself? Do we have Dr. Benjamin, please?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Please, at this point in time, I'd like to welcome Dr. Benjamin Anyagra to give us the closing remarks. It has been such a very wonderful ride of learning, and not only that, but literally challenging, our mindset, literally challenging the status quo, literally challenging everything else. And I'm quite happy that this is indeed the legacy that Kwame Nkrumah wanted us to continue, the kind of conversation that Kwame Nkrumah wanted us to continue to have. So, Dr. Benjamin, please.
Shamir? It seems Dr. Benjamin is having some problems. Just give the chance to our senior comrade, 𝐩𝐸𝐥𝐞𝐬, to ask his question, please.
Okay, great.
It seems many people are still willing to listen,
Thank you very much.
Maybe 5 minutes is not going to be too bad, since Prof is here with us.
Can I ask my question, please? Thank you very much. My question is geared towards both Mr. Mapongo and Professor Lumumba. Since we're celebrating Nkrumah, and we know Nkrumah's message resonates across Africa, isn't it about time we set up an Nkrumah, some form of Nkrumah educational chapter in every African country to start teaching the children about Nkrumah? What do you think about that? Because right now, Ghana is even engaged. The present president of Ghana is engaged in destroying the memory and the legacy of Nkrumah. And we need this man more so now than ever. Thank you.
Absolutely. I'll give that question to either Dr. Makonga or to Professor Lumumba to discuss on that. A very important point, actually.
I'll allow my senior to go first. That is Dr. Lumumba. If he can respond first, I have a short answer for that. And my answer will be very brief. You, as a doctor, you as professionals, you are willing to spend money on buying weaves, makeup, buying cell phones, and expensive cars. You are not willing to put $10 into that organization. So don't tell us what we must do. The question is, what are we going to do as an organization, as African children? And until we are prepared to make that transformation, nothing will happen. Nothing stops you from calling 10, 15 people on the African continent with $1 each from 900,000 or 1 million people in Africa who can contribute to that, to setting up that institution and run. We don't run on tears. We don't run on water. It runs on money. And until you as people are prepared to put your value in money, what makes the Europeans powerful and the Americans? They are willing to put their money for their propaganda. But Africans would rather spend money on wines and champagnes. done on transformation. And yet you want to see Africa changing. You have leaders amongst you that you don't respect. And when you respect them, you don't fund them. And yet you expect change. I've received a number of comments who say, we talk too much. We talk too much. We're doing little. How do I do little? I'm looking after my family. I'm also struggling in the same system together with you until you make a decision as to how do we take this thing to another level. Financially, this remains a desktop discussion. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Maponga. You know, oh my God. Okay, so President Mungo, please, would you like to also have a go?
Like we just lost Prof.
Okay. Okay. I think I can take one last question while we're still waiting for Dr. Benjamin. I recognize your hand, son. Unmute yourself, please.
Interesting, isn't it?
Please unmute.
I think talking about politics of my
the connection is a little bit messy there.
Sorry, Sam, there is so much interference coming from your phone. We're not actually hearing what you're saying. Can you try and eliminate the interference and try again to ask your question? Thank you.
Suma bokay ñoo déglu programme bi ni nañ ko dégloo xel ñi suñ moromi african lañ bi beneen plateforme bu am doole la biir Africa te ñu fa nekk di wax yépp borom xam-xam lañ wante soo leen dégloo waxtaan bi ni di nga gis ne the same thing lañ am West Africa tam ku nekk dañ nekk di wax affaire problème Africa ñu ngi wax problème unity wante ba léegi demuñ fenn so I think it's better ku nekk nga concentrate li nekk sa dëkka den suñ solfee yooyu ñu mën a seet wante fekk ku nekk solfu loolu nekk sa dëkka unity bi ñoo wax ni dafa difficult torop wante man li ma nekk di wax si suma plateforme bi tey ak ñi lu ñoo wax si beneen side Africa yëpp benn la ñun suñ buggee dem kanam ak lépp si luñ jàppa tey dañ ko war a seetaat ñu bàyyi ko ñu téye si luñ xam luñ mun a yóbbu ñu jël loolu wante jàmbur jàppa jàmbur yóbbu wuñu fenn te from tey demee si kaw coono moo see nekka coono bu dul jeex moo see nekka parce que ñun ñoo nekk réew moo xam ne si jàmbur lañ ko téye suñ oon nit ñi suñ biir dëkka yërëmuñ ñu xalaatuñ ñu lan la naka la ku nekkange xalaatal boppam ku nekka boppam la nekk di xalaatal wante comme nu ko professeur Numumba waxee it's time ñu ne nañ leen wàññi wax bi ñu jël duga si action def moo des léegi te def boobu man loolu laa dee ooye suma nit ñi nañ leen génn ñu bokka suñ am yu nun daw nañ leen ko boole together mu mun a mag ñu start di génne suñ réew mi si lim nekka ndanka wante il faut mu am fuñ starté te man loolu la start Gambia so li may def léegi every day dama ñëw fii di oo suma brothers yi ak suma sisters yi nañ leen start something fu ñoo change te loolu lañ start nii nañ leen ko starté suñ dunda njëkka suñ dunda ñu starté ko foofu suñ demee ba ñoo dundal suñ boppa den ñu start leneen parce que liñ war a jël dafa bari wante fu ñoo starté mooy suñ biir yi nañ leen toppatoo ngum boobu suñ demee ba nga xam ne loolu wéere wuñ ko si biti den taxaw nañ fu tegër pour jël indépendance suñ dëkk suñ réew mi ñu jël suñ indépendant ñu amee ko tey war nañoo waxa suñ sisters yi suñ yaay yi suñ bàjjen yi ñoom ñoo amee biiri réew mi parce que ñoom ñoo amee waañ yi so ñoom lañ war a waxal jublu si ñoom njëkka changes bi foofu la bu mu dooree si seen loxo la nekka ñoom suñ starté loolu process boobu rek change bi dina commencé Gambia ñàkkut béykat yu bari ñoo nekk Gambia te am na ñoo xam ne bàyyi nañ béy wante pare nañ pour delluwaat foofu waaye naka lañ leen a delluwaat si réew mi ñun miin doomi réew mi ñun ñooy start di xamee suñ lekki réew mi ñu start di jëndal loolu di ko lekka suñ starté di lekka lu ñoo ji suñ réew den dinañ gis ne dinañ commencé di amee suñ boppa wante tey ak lu ñoo celebrate yépp suñ jógee ko si celebration bi ñu ñibbi kër ñu lekka American rice ñu lekka Chinese rice duulin buñ ko toogee légume yuñ fa def mu ngi jógee Sénégal den amaguñ this independent bu ñoo celebrate so man nu ma ko gisee nañ leen liggéey nañ leen commencé dis liggéey mbaa dingol al nga doo ko commencé fan soto la doo ko mbe wala commencé la nga nam fan soto par lu wolun kata sawo sanga finti ngata stadium moto konka celebrate le na fan soto ka wala celebrate when ntol ngam fan soto le non jannin tubabol fango benan tol kan tubabol yatara len tol ngam fan soto mbem fanda nyini kan na kuol bem fangol blokon inata ye min tarambulun na adol ntaranyal ye wol pe falen blokon parin tolle sontal pour ye wol falen en wo songo hanisa mbe wollela walati nan ka fintin kata nyin jurarol bela banko mi yalonko fentete bulu mi yalonko ite fango ka wole soto nay fangoy feo feng bantala abe bola wole to ay nete blokon ite koy independent wole soto ye independent soto min bulu hanisa ibeta wolkan ibetela hajo fola wolye ye ma koy ye wo fengol ditela yena anan ye la banko mol ma ko yala par bi wo banko mol fango be wo toro kono la katu wo fengol min fango nui kaso don tubabol bulu wol fango be kole yarim banko kando walle be mankerim banko kam bakel min kata jararo bundalde jararo man tara Gambia ko tanki fo koditi yolde min setino ye don play no leyti yana dan tubabudu ak abe wol bulle bare fuarol min yalon ko la dañinol fango ka kole bulu ni wol yo wo kurangol soto min yalon ko ibuka jarano Gambia comme bi nga min je social media luwolun se molje mine bena daniro la pour molje kafun diroke ye makoy ye na jam ma fangola ye na jararo la jan wolbe bolan na bankoto nyaadile ntenga meda nim fango kan na jararol ke woto le ngam fan soto barin tol bukam fan jarano atara tuba bolla borol man nan tol kan sambe mena independence soto la madingo meka cha dan na janne to sai fo ularo talan konondo me mulla nan ne kotange sa taranga celebration on natalol beji min keta independence di foi ba kala banjun lebam ni yake ya natalol janjandi ten ngajibe mine keta wo stadium moto bi fu katu ngajale sain ko ku jamal fango be jabuka ke independence stadium moto sain akake banjun le bawo jele suti ata state house la endu jele fanando yata between sa jibe bi independent ko keta nyaadi le ado bato be falindirol jelale katu ngamira Gambia di Jamal BJB ya lonne min importanta banko kan isola kol momenti ye wolom bakele ninga video dol jibe nkala jele katu na journalisol ka fintile kata tamangol ini mol ka ben e ka minne fo en kala jele to alga bo jibe bake banko solata min nenta wala jibel la baraka bake ala mantili nyana kairal fo talam kononto ularo assalamu alaikum warahmatullah